Hello dear students. So last class we have discussed about a reflection at a plane mirror. Today I am going to start a reflection at a spherical mirrors. What is the difference between a plane mirror and a spherical mirror? So let us consider a hollow sphere. In case of this hollow sphere, so its one side is opaque. That means it is manufactured in such a way that its outer surface is opaque, inner surface is reflecting. Similarly, I am going to consider another sphere, hollow sphere. So in case of this sphere, inner surface is opaque. Inner surface is opaque, outer surface is reflective. Now I am going to divide this sphere into two parts. So let us consider this portion of the sphere. So it is like this. Outer surface is opaque. Outer surface is opaque. Inner surface is reflecting. Similarly, in case of this sphere, inner surface is opaque. Inner surface is opaque. Outer surface is reflecting. Then what is the meaning of a spherical mirror? So these two mirrors are spherical in shape. Mirror means here it has one opaque surface and one reflecting surface. So here, depending upon these two spheres, we will get two types of spherical mirrors. So spherical mirror is nothing but one of the part of hollow sphere. This is sphere. So this is the part of this sphere whose one side is reflecting, another side is opaque. Now let us consider center of the sphere. Let us say this point to be the center of the sphere. Here reflecting surface is near to center of the sphere. Similarly, in case of this sphere, center of the sphere, so here reflecting surface is far to the center of the sphere. Depending upon this, we are going to categorize spherical mirrors into two types. If reflecting surface is near to the center of the sphere, at which given spherical mirror forms a part of the sphere, that mirror is known as concave spherical mirror. If reflecting surface is away from center of the sphere, then such type of a spherical mirror is known as convex spherical mirror. So in case of this sphere, we will get concave spherical mirror. In case of this sphere, we will get convex spherical mirror. Reflecting surface near to the center of the sphere, reflecting surface far to the center of the sphere. Therefore, this spherical mirror is known as concave spherical mirror, and this one convex spherical mirror Now, what is the meaning of this concave spherical mirror? That is, reflecting surface is near to center of the sphere at which that spherical mirror forms a part of that sphere. Types of spherical mirror. First one, concave spherical mirror. Second one, convex spherical mirror. So here a reflecting surface near to center of the sphere. Here a reflecting surface is far to center of the sphere. And in case of spherical mirrors, it is very important to understand few basic terms. These basic terms are very important in order to understand the derivations of various formulae in case of spherical mirrors. Now I am going to consider one by one. First one, pole. So it is represented by capital P. So pole is nothing but midpoint of a circular boundary of the spherical mirror. It may be a concave spherical mirror or convex spherical mirror. So here this point is known as pole, midpoint of circular boundary of the spherical mirror. So that is known as pole and it is represented by P. Then center of curvature. Center of curvature. Center of curvature is nothing but center of the sphere at which given spherical mirror forms a part of that sphere. Here, if you are going to proceed these two edges, we will get this sphere. So this is the center of this sphere. Similarly, we will get the center of this curvature. Center of curvature is nothing but center of the sphere at which this spherical mirror forms a part of this sphere, and it is represented by capital C. Capital C, center of curvature. Center of the sphere at which spherical mirror, at which given spherical mirror forms a part of that sphere. Then radius of curvature. So it is represented by capital R. A radius of curvature is nothing but a radius of the sphere at which the given spherical mirror forms a part of that sphere. That means this distance. So any point on the circumference of the sphere. Therefore, here radius of curvature is nothing but a radius of the sphere at which spherical mirror forms a part of that sphere. So it is represented by capital R. Then linear aperture. Linear aperture. So here linear aperture is nothing but the diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror. Diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror means, so this is the diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror. This is known as linear aperture. Diameter of circular boundary spherical mirror. Then principal axis. So principal axis is nothing but a straight line passing through center of curvature and pole of the given spherical mirror. So this is the pole of this spherical mirror. It is represented by capital P. Let us say this point be the center of curvature. Center of curvature is nothing but center of the sphere at which this spherical mirror forms a part of this sphere. The straight line passing through center of curvature and pole. This straight line is known as principal axis. Similarly, in case of this convex spherical mirror, so this point be the pole of the spherical mirror. Let us say this point be the center of curvature. The straight line passing through pole and center of curvature, this straight line is known as principal axis. The straight line passing through pole and center of curvature. Of the spherical mirror. So it is known as principal axis. Then angular aperture. Angular aperture is nothing but angle subtended by the diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror at its center of curvature. So that angle formed at center of curvature of this spherical mirror by the diameter of this spherical mirror is known as angular aperture. Angle subtended by the diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror at its center of curvature. So that is known as angular aperture. Next one, principal focus. So next one, principal focus. So it is represented by capital F. So what is the meaning of this principal focus? So in case of concave or convex spherical mirror, so let us consider concave spherical mirror. So here outer surface is opaque, inner surface is reflecting. This point is known as pole. It is represented by P. Let us consider the center of curvature. The straight line passing through center of curvature and pole, that straight line is known as principal axis. For here, this point is center of curvature. It is represented by capital C. The distance between center of curvature and pole, this distance is radius of curvature. And similarly, in case of convex spherical mirror, inner surface is opaque, outer surface is reflecting. Pole of the spherical mirror, center of curvature, the spherical mirror, straight line passing through pole and center of curvature is known as principal axis. The principal focus is nothing but when a parallel light beam, that means light rays are parallel to the principal axis. Beam is nothing but group. Light beam means it is made up of large number of light rays or more than one light ray. When a narrow parallel light beam is made to fall on a reflecting surface of the concave spherical mirror, after reflection, the corresponding reflected light rays actually converges to a point on the principal axis. That point is known as principal focus in case of concave spherical mirror. In case of convex spherical mirror, when a parallel light beam is made to incident on a reflecting surface of the convex spherical mirror, after reflection, the corresponding reflected light rays appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis. That point is known as the principal focus. So let us observe this ray diagram. So let us consider two incident light rays. This light ray parallel to the principal axis. I already told to you people, in this ray optics, straight line represents path of light, arrow mark represents direction of light. Another incident light ray parallel to the principal axis. Another incident light ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, direction of a reflected light ray, direction of a reflected light ray. So here these two reflected light rays are going to meet at this point. This point is known as principal focus. Similarly, when a parallel light beam is made to incident on this convex spherical mirror, after a reflection, direction of incident light rays, direction of incident light ray. After a reflection, these two reflected light rays by proceeding this reflected light ray, direction of reflected light ray, direction of a reflected light ray. By proceeding these two reflected light rays in backward direction, because if you are going to proceed these two light rays in a forward direction, they never meet with each other, because those light rays are diverging in nature. For an observer, it appears as if these two reflected light rays are emerging from this point on the principal axis. This point is known as principal focus, that is in case of convex spherical mirror. So here principal focus is nothing but a parallel light beam is made to incident on the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror. After reflection, the reflected light rays actually meet at a point on the principal axis in case of concave spherical mirror and appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis in case of convex spherical mirror. When a parallel light beam parallel to the principal axis falls on the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror, after reflection the reflected light rays actually meet at a point on the principal axis. In case of concave spherical mirror. And appear to diverge from a point, and appear to diverge from a point in case of convex spherical mirror. So that point is known as principal focus. See here, in your examination they will not ask what is principal focus, what is a concave mirror, what is convex mirror, like that. But these terms are very important in order to understand the various derivations in this ray optics. For that reason, I am writing the definition of these terms in detail. And next one, focal length. It is represented by small f. Try to remember the abbreviations of these all terms. The distance between pole and principal focus, there may be a concave or convex spherical mirror, that distance, that is distance between principal focus and pole, distance between principal focus and pole. Distance between principal focus and pole of the spherical mirror. So that is known as focal length of that given spherical mirror. Then focal plane. Focal plane. The plane passing through the principal focus and perpendicular to the principal axis. So let us consider this plane. The plane passing through principal focus and perpendicular to the principal axis. So this is known as focal plane. The plane passing through the principal focus and perpendicular to the principal axis. So this is known as focal plane. Plane passing through the principal focus and perpendicular to the principal axis. So that is known as focal plane. Then paraxial light rays. So while deriving the equations, now all the situations we are going to use paraxial light rays and a spherical mirror with a small aperture. So spherical mirror with a small aperture means angle subtended at the center of curvature by the diameter of circular boundary of the spherical mirror, that is very small. What is the meaning of paraxial light rays? Paraxial light rays. Light rays parallel and close to the principal axis. Concave spherical mirror, outer surface is opaque, inner surface is reflecting. Midpoint of a circular boundary of the spherical mirror is known as pole. Straight line passing through center of curvature and pole, that straight line is known as principal axis. Distance between the center of curvature and pole, this distance is known as radius of curvature, that is R. So paraxial light rays means light rays parallel to the principal axis and also close to the principal axis. And another one is marginal light rays. Marginal light rays are nothing but light rays parallel to the principal axis but far to the principal axis. So what is the need to prefer this paraxial light rays? Because angle of incidence and angle of reflection made by the paraxial light rays are very small as compared with marginal light rays. For that reason, we are going to prefer paraxial light rays instead of marginal light rays. Next, while deriving the equations, if I am going to plot the parallel light beam, that is understood, that is paraxial light ray. So here light ray parallel, another light ray parallel to the principal axis. These two light rays are parallel and close to the principal axis. Direction of incident light ray, direction of incident light ray. After reflection, they are going to meet at a point on the principal axis. Direction of reflected light rays, direction of reflected light rays. Light rays parallel and far to the principal axis. Direction of incident light rays, direction of incident light rays. After reflection, they are going to meet at a point on the principal axis. Direction of reflected light rays, direction of reflected light rays. These two light rays are marginal light rays these two light rays are paraxial light rays. Angle made by the paraxial light rays are very small as compared with angle made by the marginal light rays. That is angle of incidence with respect to paraxial light ray. Angle of incidence and angle of reflection are very small with respect to paraxial light rays as compared with marginal light rays. So here light rays parallel and close to the principal axis. Then marginal light rays. Light rays parallel but far to the principal axis. Are known as marginal light rays. Now, while deriving the equations, in case of spherical mirrors, so we are going to adopt certain rules. So those rules are known as Cartesian sign convention. That means we should apply these rules while deriving the equations in case of a spherical mirror. So these rules are nothing but, simply we can say, so in our day-to-day life we are going to say, we are going to give the more preference in the right side, less preference in the left side, more preference in upward direction, less preference in downward direction. More preference positive, less preference negative. More preference positive, less preference negative. Right side positive, left side negative. Upward direction positive, downward direction negative. In the similar way, we are going to consider the rules while deriving the equations in case of spherical mirrors. Those rules are known as Cartesian sign convention. Let us note down the Cartesian sign convention. Cartesian sign convention. First one, all distances are measured from the pole. That means object distance, image distance, focal length, radius of curvature, these all distances must be measured from pole. Here pole is the reference point. First one, all distances measured from the pole along the principal axis. Along the principal axis. So this is the first rule. Second one, the distances measured in the direction of incident light. For example, in case of concave mirror, outer surface is opaque, inner surface is reflecting. Pole, center of curvature, principal axis. So let us consider an incident light ray. Straight line represents path of light, arrow mark represents direction of light. So here direction of this incident light is left to right. Direction of this incident light is left to right. Center of curvature. If distances measured in the direction of incident light, if you are going to measure the distance left to right, then those distances must be in positive sign. Second one, the distances measured in the direction of incident light in the direction of incident light, the distances measured in the direction of incident light are taken as positive. Third one, if the distances measured in the direction opposite to the incident light are taken as negative. The distances measured in the direction opposite to the incident light light are taken as negative. Fourth one, upward distances measured perpendicular to the principal axis. You just imagine a graph sheet, positive x-axis, negative x-axis, positive y-axis, negative y-axis. In the direction of incident light, positive. In the direction opposite to incident light, negative. Upward direction, positive. Downward direction, negative. So, fourth one, the upward distances measured perpendicular to the principal axis. Upward distances measured perpendicular to the principal axis are taken as positive. Similarly, fifth one, the downward distances measured perpendicular to the principal axis are taken as negative. The downward distances measured perpendicular to the principal axis are taken as negative. In the direction of incident light, positive. In the direction opposite to incident light, negative. Upward distances perpendicular to the principal axis, positive. Downward distances perpendicular to the principal axis, negative. So try to remember these all rules. So these rules are very important while deriving the equations. So let us consider the relation between a radius of curvature and focal length. A radius of curvature is nothing but a distance between a center of curvature and pole, and focal length is nothing but a distance between principal focus and pole. What is the relation between a radius of curvature and focal length? Relation between radius of curvature So what is the abbreviation for radius of curvature? Capital R. So here capital R represents radius of curvature. Radius of curvature and focal length so it is represented by small f, focal length of a mirror. So in your annual examination, they are going to ask this relation for 3 marks. That is a relation between a radius of curvature and focal length of a mirror. So mirror means that is understood curvature, spherical mirror. Okay. So let us consider a concave mirror. So even though by considering convex mirror we can derive this same relation, in case of a concave mirror we will get 2 types of images, real and virtual. I will explain this thing in the next class. So at first let us consider a concave mirror. Concave mirror, outer surface is opaque, inner surface is reflecting. Pole of the concave mirror, straight line passing through pole and center of curvature. This straight line is known as principal axis. Capital P represents pole. So let us consider a light ray which is parallel to the principal axis. Incident light ray parallel to the principal axis. Straight line represents path of light, arrow marker represents direction of light. So in case of concave mirror, we know that in case of concave mirror, if light ray is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection the corresponding reflected light ray converts to a point on the principal axis. That point is known as principal focus. Incident light ray, a reflected light ray, direction of reflected light ray. This point is known as principal focus and it is represented by capital F. A distance between center of curvature and a pole, this distance is known as a radius of curvature and it is represented by capital R. Distance between principal focus and pole, this distance is known as focal length. Let us say AB be the incident light ray and BF is the reflected light ray. So let us consider a normal at the point of incidence. Incident light ray, this is nothing but point of incidence. Normal at the point of incidence. Normal at the point of incidence. So this dotted segment represents normal at the point of incidence. Let us say theta be the angle of incidence. So angle of incidence is nothing but angle between incident light ray and the normal at the point of incidence, this angle. So this angle is equal to theta. We know that from laws of reflection, if angle of incidence is equal to theta, then angle of reflection is also equal to theta. So here angle of reflection is nothing but angle between a reflected light ray and a normal at the point of incidence. If suppose this angle is equal to theta, then this angle is also equal to theta because alternate angles. This angle is theta, this angle is theta, therefore this total angle is 2 theta. If this total angle is 2 theta, then this angle is also equal to 2 theta. So here AB is incident light ray, it is parallel to the principal axis and also close to the principal axis. Try to understand this concept. And a brief explanation about this diagram. Let us consider XY be the concave spherical mirror. XY concave spherical mirror of radius of curvature R and focal length small f. Then AB incident light ray. AB incident light ray parallel to the principal axis. Theta angle of incidence. Theta is nothing but angle of incidence. For paraxial light ray, if suppose AB is close to the principal axis, AB is close to the principal axis and also parallel to the principal axis. for paraxial light ray, when AB is close to the principal axis, this point B is very near to P. That means here PB is considered as a straight line perpendicular to the principal axis. When AB is paraxial light ray, B is close to P and PB is considered to be a straight line perpendicular to the principal axis. For paraxial light ray, B is close to P and PB is considered as PB is considered to be a straight line So try to understand this concept. When P is close to, when B is close to P, here PB is considered, or it appears as like as a straight line perpendicular to the principal axis. If PB is a straight line, then from the right angled triangle BCP, when BP is a straight line, then we will get a right angled triangle BPC. From this right angled triangle, let us define this angle theta. From right angled triangle, BCP or you can write BPC because this angle is 90 degree. From right angle triangle BPC, tan theta is equal to, now I am going to consider tan theta, because by considering this trigonometric function tan theta, easily we can derive the relation between R and F. In a right angle triangle, tan means opposite side divided by adjacent side. Easily we can derive the relation between R and F by defining this trigonometric function tan theta. So tan theta is equal to opposite side. Opposite side is nothing but PB or BP divided by adjacent side PC. Let us name this equation as 1. Similarly, from right angled triangle, BFP, from right angle triangle BFP, let us define tan 2 theta. So tan 2 theta is equal to opposite divided by adjacent side, PB divided by PF. Tan 2 theta is equal to opposite side PB divided by PF, equation number 2. I already told you people, while deriving the equation we are going to consider paraxial light rays instead of marginal light rays, because in case of paraxial light rays, angle of incidence and angle of reflection are very small. That means we can avoid some mathematical steps. For that reason we are going to prefer paraxial light rays. For paraxial light ray, if this theta is very small, then tan theta is nearly equal to theta, and tan 2 theta is nearly equal to 2 theta. For paraxial light ray, tan theta is nearly equal to theta, and tan 2 theta is nearly equal to 2 theta. Then above equations become therefore from 1 and 2, theta equal to PB divided by PC. From 2 theta is equal to PB divided by PF. So let us name this equation as equation number 3, and this one equation number 4. From equation 3 and 4, equation 4 by 3, or you can consider 3 by 4. Equation 4 by 3, from equation number 4, 2 theta divided by theta, LHS side, is equal to 2 theta is equal to PB divided by PF into theta is equal to PB by PC, it becomes a PC divided by PB. We are not measuring anything along this direction, that is along PB. Therefore, here PB get cancelled, theta get cancelled. Then 2 is equal to PC divided by PF. PC is nothing but a radius of curvature, PF is nothing but focal length. Now let us apply Cartesian sign convention. According to Cartesian sign convention, all distances measured from the pole along the principal axis. So here PC is nothing but radius of curvature, all distances measured from the pole along the principal axis. If the distances measured in the direction of incident light are taken as positive, if the distance is measured in the direction opposite to the incident light. See here, now I am going to measure this distance from right to left, right to left, right to left, but direction of incident light left to right. Therefore, this distance should be in terms of negative sign, that is capital R. Similarly, PF, all distances measured from the pole along the principal axis. Again, the direction of measurement is right to left. Direction of incident light left to right. Therefore, we should consider this distance in terms of negative sign. Equation number 4. 2 is equal to PC. PC is equal to minus R. PF is equal to minus F, because from Cartesian sign convention. From Cartesian sign convention. Negative sign get cancelled, then R is equal to 2F. R you can write R equal to 2F, or F is equal to R by 2. So this is the relation between a radius of curvature and focal length. So in your annual examination, they are going to ask this question for 3 marks. So they are going to ask derive the relation between radius of curvature and focal length. So this is all about relation between R and F. I hope you will understand these all concepts. So in next class, I am going to discuss about mirror equation.